Hi, Rochelle.
How
This is
are you?
Chandrima. I'm fine. It's lovely
Excellent.
having me.
Thank
Wonderful talking to you. Well,
absolutely.
to start with myself, I'm
Please tell please
Chandrima.
yes, please tell us your name.
I'm Chandrima Chatterjee. Well, I was born in India
Mhm,
in a place called Kolkata.
mhm,
And then, I studied a portion of my education was in Kolkata.
mhm.
Then my father, he was an engineer. So he was posted in different places. So, Kolkata probably was my dad's 20th posting,
Mhm,
um, after my birth.
mhm,
So it was around, I think I was about 7, 8 years old when
mhm,
my mom told him enough is enough,
mhm,
because I don't think I can do this shifting every time, because we were going with him to every assignment, every project that his work took him to.
mhm.
So we started, me and my mother and my brother. Me and my brother, we are twins. We are fraternal
Oh,
twins. Yeah,
absolutely.
just the two of us, but fraternal twins. So she said, maybe because of our education and also the fact that we won't never have friends if we move around so much.
Mhm,
So we stayed back in Kolkata while my dad kept on going to his different assignments.
mhm,
So a portion of my education was in the city,
mhm,
but later I shifted to a different city to do my post graduation and my masters and my MPhil PhD.
mhm,
It was in a different city, New Delhi.
mhm.
So I'm basically trained sociologist. I did my PhD on migration, labor migration.
Mhm,
It was basically on informal labor migration
mhm,
and to explore the vulnerabilities among those laborers who would visit the urban centers, and the exploitation that followed, the vulnerability basically.
mhm,
So after that, I started working in the development sector. I spent more than 10 years in the development sector. I was into research. I, I did several research on, women and migration along the lines of vulnerability, of course, children, health, and human rights. So though that is what I was doing for a good number of years. Then in around 2013, I have three girls.
mhm,
So around when my youngest was born, 2012. At that time, my husband. I'm married for 20 years.
mhm.
My husband was a completely different world. He was a corporate guy, and I was in a researcher. We had a very different worldview and a very different kind of workspace at that point of time. So 2013 is when he decided to we decided to have our own company
Mhm,
in the space of shipping and logistics.
mhm,
Um, so 2030 onwards, we started having this company, which is called S Cube Transcontinental. And that's primarily why, okay, something I missed in between. I studied in a place, my master's and my MPhil PhD in Delhi. But then later, I shifted to another city called Mumbai. I'm sure you've heard about it, Mumbai.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
after my marriage, I shifted to Mumbai, and my work was in Mumbai. So 2013, we shifted from Mumbai to Dubai because the company that we opened,
Mhm,
our parent holding company was in Dubai,
mhm,
mainly because of several reasons, mainly because of the location of Dubai, and this was something to do with shipping and logistics. We are into movement of project cargo, which means heavy movement of, and we had to be closer to a port location.
mhm,
Mumbai being a port, port city, and again Dubai. So 2013 we started this, but 2016 is when we shifted to Dubai. Though my husband kept on coming here because the parent company was here, based out of Dubai. So we as a family shifted to Dubai in 2016,
Mhm.
precisely 16th of April 2016. So ever since we are based here, at the moment it's 100% owned company between the two of us. And yeah, we are into this space of, logistics is the backbone of any industry. You have to move things, whatever you make, your products have to move.
Yeah.
So it's been a journey. It's been a struggle being an entrepreneur, the first generation entrepreneur. It has been a struggle, but challenging enough. I'm still sitting and talking in front of you, so we have not perished yet. But yes, and it's an exciting journey, I must say, because you know, uh, here in Dubai, unlike a lot of perceptions that people may have outside of the Middle East, here you see so many women in the corporate world. In fact, I haven't seen so many women um, in board positions, in really high positions in India. So for me, it's a wonderful space to be in once, as an entrepreneur, because you actually find that acceptance, something which even I was not privy to before I moved in, because 2012 it was made mandatory for every company to have a lady in the board position.
Mhm.
So you can understand there has been a conscious attempt towards gender equality in the corporate sector. So yes, this being so, this is in a nutshell um, my years have been. So I would love to hear from you if there's something that you want me to speak on.
I think that's very, very wonderful what you've said. So tell me, how did you decide to do sociology? What made that an attractive option for you?
Yeah, good question. In India, the kind of education system that I have come from, you can say sociology was by accident,
Okay.
because when I was doing my plus two, we have a kind of system when, okay, let me make it simple for you. I I had applied in several colleges. From my school to when I had to go to the college, I had several colleges applied to. So I got in something called political science, and then I also, yes, political science. Sociology was very much by accident because I had a friend whose sister was doing sociology.
Mhm.
And she told me, these are the things you learn. This is, and the college where I had been to do sociology was a very good college. So for me, more than the subject, which I knew nothing about at that point of time, my attraction was the college, because the college I come out from is has a huge legacy. It's a presidency college. It was students from that college was involved in the freedom movement in our country, and it had some wonderful academicians coming out from that. It was a legend. I wanted to be a part of that history. So even if perhaps even if they had given me anything else, I would have got it perhaps. So it's very much by accident. But once I got into that course, I got very interested in it, because studying human behavior, studying the different social behavior was fascinating,
Mhm.
and it stays with you. I still I read in between lines. I can read through faces. Perhaps it's just a training, but yes, it is very much by accident.
And so in your career now, do you actually work with through an organization, or do you work for yourself? How do you earn your money?
Okay, so in our organization, what we do, as I mentioned to you, is we are involved in movement of heavy
Yeah.
machineries and stuff like that. So wherever there is a plant, there is a, say, electrical plant coming up or a nuclear power project coming up, huge projects, big projects. So we are the logistics service providers. So which means what? For setting up a plant, you need, say, for example, setting up a electrical plant, you need turbines, you need several other machineries, heavy machineries, which requires very specialized movement because they are heavy movements. So we actually, as a company, specialize in those, you know, because it requires expertise. Movement of heavy machineries requires expertise. So
Mhm.
we specialize in that field. So we take up, or we are logistics service providers to EPCs who are primarily responsible for setting up those plants.
Mhm.
So that is our main kind of business. That's our main work. But at the moment, we are also working on digitalizing the experience of movement.
Mhm.
We have a very big plan. We have we have formulated uh, e-commerce actually. We were working on it. We were working on it for all this while to set up the different facets which would come. And once we are very hopeful that once this e-commerce project of ours takes the shape or finds the light, that would be game changer for the logistics industry. So yeah, so that's how we work. And if your question is also to address the fact that maybe I'm just taking a cue being a sociologist, the fact that I have been trained in a particular field. How do I integrate my knowledge and my skills from my past to the present work that I'm doing?
Mhm. So
Well, yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, please go ahead. I would love to hear your question first. Yes.
So what I find, interesting about all of this, is how you manage business and sociology, combine them into an output. That is very ground shaking, if you will, because I mean, like normally when we think about moving machines or we think about manual things, we don't always think about the parts of how it impacts human behavior, right? So sociology is
Exactly.
kind of like, making sure the human is adapting to society as a whole. But it's amazing that you do this. And so when you are, how do you measure success in that? So do you measure it by weight? Do you measure it by, how do you know that you've done what you set out to do?
Well, as a person is a growth
Mhm.
because we change jobs,
Mhm.
but we grow in skills. We use the same set of skills that
Yep.
we have learned through our work, and we apply in different situations.
Mhm.
Now, if you ask me where I started to where I am now,
Mhm.
it's a 360-degree.
Right.
It was completely different field that I started from to where I am. But again, there are always rooms for integration, and I will come to where I am consciously integrating my skills, my knowledge from my past to the present. Uh, while I was doing assignments earlier as a sociologist or as a researcher, let me say social engineer, because I was mainly into research and monitoring and evaluation. Now, the skills that I have acquired through those, you know, which are pretty much the similar things that I use here. Here, only the scheme, the space has changed in terms of of course, let me also tell you that I am not really very much involved in the day to day operations of, the movements,
Mhm.
which is mainly done by my husband, who is from this field.
Mhm.
Uh, but a lot of coordination. We have within our company, we have trading, we have management consultancy,
Mhm.
we have as a operations like hardcore movement of movement, shipping and logistics. And again, the fourth arm is we are working on digitalization of this economic, the e-commerce for logistics and supply chain. So I stay away from the day-to-day operations, but I'm into the management consultancy.
Mhm.
I'm into the designing of the e-commerce along with the team. So these are things, these are places where I consciously integrate my past learning and my skills,
Mhm.
because operations is a very, very it's a very specific knowledge.
Absolutely.
To give you a very brief, whenever there's an inquiry of a movement, you precisely need to know what is the cargo length and breadth, and which ship takes it well. And that's not something I can learn within 7 years.
Right.
I don't even get into it.
Mhm.
So that is something which my husband is focusing on,
Mhm.
but I focus on the softer skills,
Right.
the those arm of the company which requires soft skills, like the management consultancy, where again my sociology comes in big help, because we help building teams, we give business strategies, and I had organizational behavior during my training, during my learning. So this comes handy. So
Absolutely.
that those are the integrations points of integration that we have. And again, I started, now I'm an entrepreneur, you know. So, so I have the freedom to design my future.
Right.
Now I can tell you, uh, though of course we have these specific areas through which, along which we are with which we are working, but I have plans for the future to get involved also into the corporate social responsibility projects, the different companies which they have to mandatorily take.
Mhm.
And my management consultancy within my company allows me to actually guide the different corporations in designing their corporate social responsibility initiatives, and where they can really fruitfully put in their fund that they have, their available funds that they have. So yes, it's not too much divorced from whatever I did. Yeah, and I will find my way.
Absolutely, and it sounds like it's very, very creative and innovative work. So I'm happy to
Yes,
see what you create.
yes,
You come back and share with us what you have created.
yes.
So, and let me ask you this, just about where you are in the world. So, do you find yourself or see yourself as isolated in the part of the world that you are, or are you a global jet setter? So, are you all the United States, other countries, or are you just regionally at Dubai?
Wonderful, and perfectly in an alignment to your diversity, your program. You see, India is a huge country.
Yes.
So many languages, so many states. I come from the eastern part of India. I did a little bit of my studies in the northern part of India.
Mhm.
Then my work and I almost spent 18 years in the western part of India.
Mhm.
And they are diverse cultures.
Mhm.
We speak different languages, we have different eating habits, everything was different.
Mhm.
So the diversity was there. I experienced diversity even while I was in India.
Mhm.
And different things that you notice. I'm from the eastern part of India. So we are trained, we are raised to think things in a different way than what is in the north to the west. There are many, if you say that, did you face cultural, what should I say, isolation?
Mhm.
See, Bombay is a financial capital again,
Yes.
and all the places like Calcutta, where I come from, is a metropolitan city.
Mhm.
Again, it is an eastern part of India, but there are certain uniformity. The diversity is suspended to an extent. It is there, of course, it's there, But again, it's a metropolitan city, it's a big city. People from different parts of India used to come there for work or transferred for work. So you get to see people from different parts of India. In the north, Delhi, where I started, again, I have these three places. They are big cities. So, yes, I experienced a lot of what should I say? Oh, she's from this part of eastern part of India, so she thinks like this. She talks like this. They speak like this.
Mhm.
This is only in interpersonal interactions
Mhm.
that you see. But because I moved from metropolitan cities to cities, I had that confidence in me. Because I was already I had been exposed to people from different parts of India.
Mhm.
Now, that having said, when I moved to Dubai,
Mhm.
this is a place which is completely different. And, it's filled with expats. In fact, it is so much filled with expats that the whole system is geared to cater to expats.
Mhm.
Of course, even within the expats, there are certain people or a certain portion of people who has shifted from say certain states. You find a lot of people from the UK here. It's and then a lot of people from the United States and also parts of Europe, but mostly from UK. So and also from Philippines and then different places. But if I talk of diversity, even while there is diversity, there are certain jobs or certain positions occupied by certain nationalities. Now, to give you a small example, here, the if you look at in the economic space,
Mhm.
the whole you see a lot of all those jobs which is labor intensive are filled with nationalities from Pakistan, from Philippines, from India. Again, if you look at positions, general manager positions to board positions,
Mhm.
you find a lot of people from UK, many from America,
Mhm.
also from India, and a small portion from Pakistan.
Mhm.
The If I have to really analyze the available economic or board positions or in within the space of economic, the business point of view, most of the most of the Indians are have their own businesses here.
Mhm.
They are a part of a business community,
Mhm.
and also Pakistanis to a small extent. You have Pakistanis, but if you look at the people in general manager positions and above, you will find most of them are from UK.
Yeah.
And if you tell me, because I never faced that because I came here as an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
So, I had to offer jobs.
Mhm.
I didn't have to look for a job.
Right.
But yes, I have friends from different parts of the world, and they have definitely faced a certain amount of discrimination. Um, they have told me privately that most of the positions are taken by certain nationalities and they don't have a chance.
Mhm.
That happens. That happens surely.
Yeah.
But as I mentioned, then again, there are also because since we are discussing economy and diversity and discrimination, some there is also very privately held discussions between friends um, that because of certain nationalities taking up jobs, whatever jobs are available, um, the prices which they would otherwise like to quote, they are not able to quote because there are, ready, there is more surplus of labor anyway. So if I don't take it, somebody else would.
Right.
And let me tell you one more thing. There is a lot of vulnerability attached to living here if you are if you don't have your own if you don't have your own company.
Mhm.
Why? The first thing is the visa. The
Mhm.
visa here is provided by the employer. That is the vulnerability you start with.
Mhm.
So the moment your job is gone and you don't find a job with the next 3 months, your visa expires and you need to leave.
Mhm.
So that brings down a lot of your negotiation power
Mhm.
in the job market, because that puts you in a vulnerable position.
Mhm.
So yeah, there is a lot of vulnerability within the space, but as I've never faced discrimination at an interpersonal level. No, never.
Wow. That's
Because it is a wonderful city. It is a beautiful city. It is very welcoming to expats. In fact, expats have helped the city, helped the country build what it is, and they appreciate that, they respect that, and every day there is some initiative or the other to raise the experience of expats, their well-being, their happiness, and that's a visionary leadership quality that I see here, and I must say, it's amazing.
so one of the things I find interesting about India specifically is, and I have a lot of friends and colleagues there, and
Mhm.
there's a difference in people by
Yeah,
other things that are not so easy. Like in America, we have racism, we have black and white, and
yeah.
whatever we have. But it's really interesting to see that in India that there's caste systems based on what part of India you're born in, what your last name is, what your parents do. I mean, all kinds of things like that. Why does that still exist, if you do know?
um, yes, as I mentioned to you, it's a very large country,
Yeah.
and yes, as you rightly mentioned, caste system. There are a lot of um, a lot of hierarchies,
Hmm.
caste system. Now, you know, of course, they don't right now. They don't exist as a constitution, but it's a cultural thing.
Hmm.
Once these are there, it is going to be there. Now, there are certain sections, there are certain regions in India. There is a huge caste system still prevalent that translates to your job opportunities, that translates to your lack of educational facilities. It is there, we are fighting it,
Hmm.
but it exists. Now, if you ask me why, as a sociologist, I can only tell you that it's very difficult because we have lived through this hierarchy for ages,
Hmm.
and then it's a socialization. We've been socialized. It's culturally so much ingrained in us, ingrained that we can't come out of it,
Hmm.
even if we don't like it. In fact, some of the most it's very surprising for you um, that some of the states in northern India, there is a huge there is a social discrimination and there is gender discrimination.
Hmm.
There are certain tribes in northern India, or some villages in northern India, where there's one particular village in northern India, where there They don't have a single girl child.
Wow.
And yes, the female feticide is so
Wow.
high. That's a reason that sex discrimination is punishable, or sex determination is punishable by law.
Hmm.
Um, because, even before a child is born, there is feticide.
Hmm.
Now, these people have been practicing these for ages.
Hmm.
And though there is decentralization, there is, there has been local governments, local self-government bodies helping them, educating them, training them. But I think it will take many, many years. Uh, I personally don't know anyone uh, who has faced this.
Hmm.
But let me tell you also that because, as I mentioned to you, I've moved from metropolitan cities to cities.
Hmm.
But I have friends,
Hmm.
and I've come to know about all these through friends, and I've worked in the space of you know gender equality. I can tell you that some of the richest families who are based in metropolitan cities would love to have a boy child, and because they have access to money,
Hmm.
and now because it is punishable by law
Hmm.
to get know what is your fetus, or what is the sex of the child.
You have to know that you have to know that after conception, or do you have a time to know that?
Yeah, within 5 months.
Wow.
Within 5 months, you can know that, right? The sex of the child.
That.
But it is made punishable by law in India because it was found by research and by several studies that the rich and the famous people who have access to money,
Hmm.
they were misusing this facility, and they went for female feticide,
Hmm.
even among the rich families who were supposed to be educated, um, and they were going for that. So there has been movements towards it. There has been a lot of things. I was talking about a village.
Hmm.
I can still say that they did not have access to education, and they were still determined. They were still guided by the cultural determination, the cultural pundits of their space. But this was happening in metropolitan cities. Female Bombay, for example, the place that I come from, or I was based for 18 years, had a highest number of female feticides at one point of time. And it is alarming. It was alarming, and yes, discriminations are there. It is a constant fight. If I talk about the corporate sector, like in the UAE, they have 2012, they have made it mandatory by law to have a woman in the board.
Hmm.
We don't have anything like that in India. We are
Wow.
still having debates. There is a minuscule amount of women who are pioneering the movement for gender equality in India, in the space, in the corporate space.
Hmm.
But as I mentioned, it's a long road. It's still a struggle. They face the discrimination. Being a woman in India,
Mm.
despite the laws and everything in place, is still a struggle. Yes, it is. Um, Perhaps people like us are can be counted in fingers. And
Wow.
also, we were lucky to have partners with us who believed um in us, who believed in giving this pedestal who believed in walking with me. Say, for example, when we started to do this company, my husband didn't think that, oh no, you're a woman. I mean, come on, what? So to that extent, I was lucky, and only those women who are lucky to have a father who believed in her, or a partner who believed in her,
Mhm.
are still in some positions where they can make those changes.
Mm,
So yes, I would love to be involved in initiatives in future.
mhm,
That is my plan, of course, um, to move away from, not to move away, but, you know, at the moment we are busy growing this company.
mhm,
But I would never really distance myself from the cause of gender equality,
mhm.
be it within my country or be it through different initiatives within the UAE. So that will be my conscious effort for sure.
Wow, that is just sad. That's really sad, and I guess I could understand why that's necessary, but it's just doesn't seem to make sense to me that people have some kind of aversion to girl births, and they would prefer to have a
Absolutely.
male, that than
You'll be surprised. You'll be
I,
surprised.
I,
There is a village in the northern part of India where there is they have no girl child because the infanticide and female, feticide
uh-huh.
is so rampant that even before a girl is born, either they are killed, and if she's born, then they are soaked in a tub of milk. These are, I know, very disturbing, but it happens. And they have to, the men in that village, from that particular village, have to actually get married to women from different or villages. They get married from women of different villages. They don't have a single girl child to get married to. So one man can get married to or no, one woman can get married to five brothers in the same family.
Wow.
Yes, yes, it exists, it happens. Very disturbing, but it happens. And my effort would definitely, um, as I mentioned, right now we are busy growing the company,
Mhm.
but I would always and always be involved in all the initiatives which are geared towards, this gender gap, this gender inequality. I would always engage myself.
That's wonderful. That is so wonderful to hear, and I'm
Yes.
so grateful for you talking to us
In
about
fact,
that.
if I we have plans that from our company we would at some point of time consciously put our our company's efforts, money back into those projects which which promote gender equality. Yeah,
I think it's just such a hard thing to even understand,
it is
how this is possible,
absolutely.
you
And
know,
I have three girls.
yeah.
I have three girls, so I can understand, as a mother of three girls,
Mhm.
and we are growing the girls from a different perspective. I don't look at them as girls; they are children. Even if I had a boy or a girl, for me, they're my parenting, or let just not say my parenting, our parenting. Me and my husband, both of are involved. Both of us believe we have same ideals in parenting, so we wouldn't have raised them any differently. For example, to tell you, my eldest, she's 16-year-old,
Mhm.
Svetlana, and she's a very bright child. I'm touch wood. I'm uh, I'm thankful to the Lord, and she's always helping us in building, making presentations for the company.
Mhm.
She wants to study and join the company, and we are not raising them like a girl child. But having said that, I'm also aware of the fact that my upbringing, though my father believed in me,
Mhm.
but I was also raised with a certain do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
You know, no, no, no. For example, me and my brother, we are growing together. We are twins.
Mhm.
So my mother would tell me that, nah, you have to come back by 7 in the evening.
Mhm.
And then my brother could come anytime he wanted. So I would be like, why? Why this? Well, no, no, you're a girl. Of course, they were thinking from the point of view of security. I can understand that because my mother it's easy, perhaps she wouldn't have, if she felt safe for me to be out beyond 7 p.m., she perhaps wouldn't have told me, don't stay out beyond 7.
Mhm.
Um, so that was there. Then again, my father, there are little things. No, girls don't do that. No, don't do that. Don't wear that. Don't do that. uh, because I was studying, and I moved to a different place away from my home after my undergrad. That did a lot of good to me because I could see myself away from my family. And it taught me about the strengths and my weakness. And I could tell my dad, listen, no, it's not working. Let's agree to disagree on this. It's not working. I don't think like this. So, yeah, I can say, yes, even I have grown, but that experience is not with my girls.
Yeah. And
We are
that's
not,
wonderful.
yeah, because I'm not, because I'm consciously aware of, those are limitations. Let me tell you, Rochelle,
Yeah.
because that also limits your thought, also breaks your confidence.
Mhm.
Because if you raise a child with too many don'ts,
Yep.
because it is culturally inappropriate,
Mhm.
it it doesn't help you grow as a free thinking individual.
Yeah.
Then you have to be that conscious, or like me, I went to different places away from home,
Mhm.
so I had different experiences.
Mhm.
And I could tell off, I could say, no, listen, I know this is not working. I know this is your way of thinking, and I agree to disagree with you, but it limits your thoughts. So
Absolutely.
it has been a conscious attempt for me to rise above those limitations.
Yeah.
Because the first time I said no, beyond 7, I would be at home, I had to talk to myself and say, it's okay to be outside beyond 7. It's not bad.
Mhm.
As long as I know I'm safe, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So yes, it limits your thoughts. And I definitely did not want my daughters to grow up like that, because they're going to be growing up as global citizens.
Exactly.
They were born in a different country, they are being raised in a different country, they will move away for their studies and work, they will be having different experiences. They cannot be growing with those limitations.
Absolutely. And that
Yeah.
is absolutely very, very wonderful of you to actually have that mindset to make sure that they have
Yes.
the best of everything. But it's also very heartbreaking to hear the story because I mean, I can't understand. I struggle with racism and discrimination in America.
Yes.
Like I don't know why these
Absolutely.
labels matter. Why is it that it matters if you're
True.
black or white or brown or whatever you are? Why do the Native Americans who's this is their country end up, being pushed off to the side? And we have these constructs that make no sense to me. And so to hear what you just said is even more heartbreaking because at least
Yes.
to some degree, we are making progress in diversity. We are making progress that we see there's a need to change. Black men being murdered by police officers. We had I
Absolutely.
don't know if you saw it on television, but the
Yes, I
people
did.
stormed the Capitol last week. You have all
Absolutely.
of this stuff, but there is
It's
still
crazy.
hope. There's still hope. We don't, just turn a whole society away because of some
Absolutely.
construct that makes no sense. And to say, as a girl, And I it's been hard being a Black woman in America, harder than anyone could ever imagine.
I
But to
know.
have that on my head too, that I'm not wanted because I'm a girl, that my life
Yes.
is in jeopardy because
Yes.
I'm a
Yes.
girl, that's horrible. That is absolutely
Absolutely.
horrible.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I want you to come back and talk to me again. I want you to
Of
come back and
course.
talk to me some more about this, because what I would like to know is,
Definitely.
how do you think we can address this? How do you think we change
Absolutely.
this? And I know we have traditions and things we've done for years and years. This is the way it's always been done. But is there a role to change it? Is there an opportunity to have value based on your gender, your race, whatever it is, and you're not being, threatened with losing your life or losing your welfare or your
Yes.
economic power because of something that's not of your making? It's not like you get
Absolutely.
to decide in the womb, let me check this book,
True.
I want to be a girl or I want to be a
No,
boy. You
absolutely.
come out what you
Yes.
come out. So I hope you will come
Exactly.
back and talk to me again. This is very,
Of
very
course,
great.
I would love to. I would
Absolutely.
love to because perhaps in that session I can talk to you about the initiatives. I can share some stories and something that I have personally experienced, something that I have personally seen my friends going through. And it has been wonderful talking to you, Rochelle. I can
Absolutely.
see the beautiful heart that you have. I can feel the warmth and the beautiful heart that you have so far away, sitting so far away from you. And lovely talking to you. Next time, I will sit with my mug of coffee so we can have the coffee session too.
Absolutely. I put my
Thank you.
calendar, I put my calendar in the chat so you can schedule it whenever it's good for you.
Yes, yes,
I'm
of
going to turn
course.
the recording off for a second, so don't hang up on me yet. Hold on.
No,